Hello. In our last video we looked at the beginning of a national canal network aimed at providing a reliable and economic means of transporting goods, and the achievements of James Brindley and John Smeaton. Other civil engineering pioneers followed in their footsteps. William Jessop was born in Devonport in 1745, where his father was a foreman shipwright in the naval dockyard. When his father died, the 16-year-old Jessop was taken on as a trainee by John Smeaton, a friend of his father who also became William's guardian. Jessop worked alongside Smeaton in West Yorkshire on the Calder and Hebble navigation between Sowerby Bridge and Wakefield, and the Ayr and Calder navigation connecting Leeds to Wakefield. When Smeaton was asked to take over construction of the Grand Canal of Ireland, a scheme to connect Dublin with the River Shannon, he put Jessop, now aged 27, in charge of taking the project forward. Jessop conducted a new survey for this long-term undertaking that set the canal on the path to successful completion. In 1789, he was appointed chief engineer for the Cromford Canal in Derbyshire, a project that required an aqueduct across the Amber Valley at Bull Bridge near Ambergate, which has since been demolished, and the construction of the 1 3/4 mile Butterley Tunnel. Working with Jessop on the scheme was Benjamin Outram, and with partners Francis Beresford and banker John Wright, they formed what became the Butterley Ironworks Company, in business until 2009, to take advantage of the new canal. Early products included rails and wagons for horse-drawn tramways linking factories and mines to the canal network. Benjamin Outram was responsible for the first cast iron aqueduct, the 44 feet Holmes Aqueduct on the Derby Canal, built in 1796 and demolished in 1970 to make way for a ring road. In 1793, Jessop was commissioned to replace the Oxford Canal, designed by James Brindley and completed after his death, with a more direct route to transport coal from the Midlands to London. The proposed 90-mile route ran from Braunston in Northamptonshire to the River Thames at Brentford. With no river valley contours to follow, it presented Jessop with new engineering challenges. At Old Wolverton, the Cosgrove Aqueduct, known as the Iron Trunk, carried the canal across the River Ouse, and a 3,076-yard tunnel was dug between Stoke Bruerne and Blisworth. When the Grand Junction Canal opened in 1800, the tunnel had yet to be completed, and for the first few years a tramway was in operation, transporting goods over Blisworth Hill. Jessop went on to work on the West India Docks in London, introduced a raft of improvements as chief engineer to the River Trent Navigation Company, advised on numerous canal, dock, harbour and railway schemes, and worked with Thomas Telford on a proposed Ellesmere Canal between Shrewsbury and Chester. The Ellesmere Canal was never completed as originally envisaged. One section, now part of Llangollen Canal in northeast Wales, involved building the spectacular Pontcysylite Aqueduct. 18 stone arches carry the cast iron trough across the valley of the River Dee. At 1,000 feet in length and 128 feet above the valley floor, it is the highest canal aqueduct in the world and is now designated as a World Heritage Site, described by UNESCO as a masterpiece of creative genius. Thomas Telford was born in Scotland. After an apprenticeship with a stonemason, he moved to London, made some influential connections, including architect and designer Robert Adam and Adam's wealthy patron Sir William Pulteney, and found work on the construction of Somerset House, a complex of buildings on the Strand overlooking the River Thames near Waterloo Bridge. From there he moved to work on the dockyards at Portsmouth. In 1787, Pulteney, who was MP for Shrewsbury, backed Telford's appointment as Surveyor of Public Works for Shropshire. In that position, Telford was responsible for some 40 iron bridges, the renovation of Shrewsbury Castle and the restoration of churches at Bridgnorth and Madeley. One of his first jobs in the county was the planning and oversight of the Pontcysylite Aqueduct. Telford took over construction of the 17-mile Shrewsbury Canal to link the town with a waterway network serving collieries and ironworks in the east of the county, for which a cast iron aqueduct was erected at Longden-on-Tern. Only remnants of the canal remain today. Telford was also involved with the Birmingham and Liverpool Junction Canal, the Gloucester and Sharpness Canal, and acted as consultant on several other waterway projects, including the Caledonian Canal in Scotland and the 120-mile Göta Canal in southern Sweden. As a young man, John Rennie spent some time working on engineering projects for James Watt before setting up his own business based in London in 1791. Among his first commissions was the Stowmarket navigation, a canalisation of the River Gippin between Ipswich and Stowmarket, and to advise on proposals for the Lancaster Canal. In 1793 he began work on the Chelmer and Blackwater navigation to create a navigable link between Chelmsford and the Blackwater estuary near Malden in Essex. Other John Rennie commissions included the creation of Rudyard Lake, a canal reservoir in North Staffordshire, the Kennet Canal in the west of Scotland, Rochdale Canal, a 32-mile waterway across the Pennines linking the Bridgewater Canal with the Calder and Hebble navigation in West Yorkshire, and working with head engineer John Thomas, the Kennet and Avon Canal, connecting the River Avon from Bristol and Bath to the River Kennet at Newbury, and from there access to the River Thames via Reading. The Dundas Aqueduct, named after the Kennet and Avon Canal Company chairman Charles Dundas, and Avonscliffe Aqueduct carry the canal over the River Avon south of Bath. A flight of 29 locks were installed to overcome Caen Hill, a high point between Rowde and Devizes in Wiltshire. Pumping stations were built at Claverton in Somerset and Crofton in Wiltshire to ensure a water supply. In their early days, canals had little serious competition, but improvements to roads were taking place, and that will be my topic next time. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons and click on the notification bell to be informed when the next video is available, or you can subscribe by clicking on the rose window over my shoulder.